All right, right now it's time to talk about I-70 Speedway. And who better to talk to than Ryan Haas, who's joining us now on the show. Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time to join us here on Track Talk this morning.
Absolutely. Glad to.
Well, it's been the big buzz, right? I mean, let's face it. The old girl's been laying out there rotting away, and I think a lot of us, including myself, I think I've even been quoted as saying it will never reopen again. But thanks to Chris Payne and the hard work of him and his staff, he's made the purchase of that facility, and lo and behold, we're going to try to bring the old girl back to life.
Absolutely. Since the official media release went out within the last 2 weeks, it's gotten tremendous response, and so many fans have visited the website I-70 Motorsports Park.com and have also received a lot of inquiries on corporate support and things like that. So it's definitely out there.
Now, we want to be clear, and I want to make sure that we state this, that nothing is going on out there right now besides just cleaning the brush up, because that's all you can really do until you go through the process, Chris and the company going through the process of getting the permits and doing all the proper things you need to do through Lafayette County to make start the construction. Is that correct? Right now, all you can do is just kind of clean up.
That is correct. So they're going through all the proper government channels to do it the way that the county and everybody wants it to be done properly. And then, from that point on, once all that's acquired, they will then begin the construction. And the hope is that the dirt track will be able to be completed to where it can open in the spring, and then the drag strip would potentially open in the summer. I
believe they had that backwards in the Kansas City Star article yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So the plan is to have the dirt track open before the drag strip. The drag strip this summer, hopefully by spring you'll have the dirt track ready.
That is correct. Just with the drag strip, obviously more asphalt and concrete to pour, and a little bit more sensitive to the weather conditions, whereas the dirt work can take place a little bit quicker. So, both will begin construction as soon as all of the permitting is finalized. They'll both start, but it's likely that the dirt track would be finished first.
Ryan Haas is joining us, representing Chris Payne, who just purchased I-70 Speedway, the I-70 Motorsports Park, and KCIR. And Ryan, what has been the big difference between the dirt track community and the drag racing community? Drag racing has always been big in Kansas City, with KCIR now shut down since the end of the 2011 season. What kind of response are you getting from both, and how does it compare between the two? I'm sure the drag racers are really excited.
Oh, just as happy, yeah.
Absolutely. There are a tremendous amount of not only fans but racers themselves in the Kansas City and Midwest market in general for both dirt track racing as well as drag racing. So, we've seen it definitely a lot of interest from the competitor side as well as the fan support.
I would assume that the drag strip will probably see a lot more activity than the dirt track. Am I right about that? I mean, you're going to have things going on all the time at the drag strip.
Weekly grudge races and that sort of stuff?
Yes, that is correct. So the plan is that there will be weekly series types of events that will take place on the drag strip, and then the dirt track is planned for primarily special events. And the goal would be to have probably at least 2 per month. It may be a race on the dirt track, and then maybe another event that same month might be another race. It might be a different variety. One might be a sprint car race. One might be a stock car race. It just kind of depends. And then some months it might be a race and then a concert. So it'll be some variety with both facilities, but certainly the drag strip will have things that anybody can bring their car out, their daily driver or their race car, and like you guys just said, they could do grudge racing, they can do bracket racing, and then there'll obviously be special events on the drag strip as well.
We know there's been some changes in drag racing over the years, and NHRA, the pro cars are running at 1,000 feet. Is this going to be a quarter mile, 1,000 feet, or an eighth mile track?
It is a quarter-mile track.
Okay, all right, okay. And do, like, the Division 5 guys, they still run on a quarter mile, like when they're at Heartland Motorsports Park. Do they still run on the quarter mile, or are they running at the 1,000 foot up there? I'm just not sure. What is it? Just the pro guys that only run 1,000 feet because they're worried about the shutdown?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's just based on their speed at at speeds of 330 miles an hour. So it's basically the nitro cars that are running 1,000 feet.
Right.
They just have to have that extra. That extra 320 feet to slow it down.
All right, before we let you go, is I-70 Motorsports Park, is there any plans to have anything other than the drag strip and the half-mile dirt track? Is there a chance that micro racing, a little dirt track, or some go-kart? Is there other plans you think, and I know that's long-term, but is there any other plans to bring in something to maybe even make it more of a motorsports park?
They do plan on adding a motocross track to it. So that would put 3 courses right there on it. Depending on how they structure the pit areas and any paved areas, there's always the chance to have drifting events like that for autocross and solo type of SCCA racing or rallycross events and things like that. There's certainly the opportunity to, because they do that currently at Chris's other 2 facilities. They do way more than just one type of event. Sometimes you can go over to Heartland Park and there might be 6 different events going on in a weekend throughout the property. So as much use as they can do out at I-70, including, like I said, music concerts and things like that, they want to be able to utilize the facility.
Well, as a kid growing up, going out to KCIR and watching motocross racing, I think that's a natural, right? Because they had a motocross track for many years out there. So I know a lot of my friends raced out there back in the day. I think that now the concerts, are they going to be on the big track, or is there going to be a venue that's built just for the music area? Are they going to try to utilize the grandstands and the facilities and stuff that they already have?
That is correct. They would utilize existing grandstand facilities.
Got it.
So it would be either on the dirt track or potentially even on the drag strip, depending on what schedules are during a month's time period. But I think most likely you would see it on the dirt track side.
Ryan, you've been a great help explaining what's going on in the future out there. Let me speak for the race fans, drag racing, and the fans of I-70 Speedway. We want to thank you and Chris and everybody that's made this happen. It's a dream come true for some of us. It's my favorite track in the world, I-70 Speedway. I know I speak for a lot of other people that feel the same way. I just want to convey the message to everybody that was behind it, making it happen. Thank you so much for doing so. There's not many people, as you well know, Ryan, that are willing to step up and spend the amount of money to get into dirt track racing right now. So we should be very thankful for Chris Payne.
Absolutely, and it's exciting to think that in a year or less from now that we can all be sitting out there in the grandstands and watching some cars fly around the track.